Good morning. We can get my cup of coffee. It's free too. I want to do a quick reading before I head off to church this morning. The church I'm going to, the reason I'm going is because they sent me a letter. They didn't send me a letter. They came to my job when I wasn't there and they left a letter behind. But they left it for somebody else. But they knew who it was going to get to, and they knew who was going to answer the call. And so I guess we'll talk about this experience later on today. I have a bunch of places to go. Of course, I'm on foot. I got 1, 2, 3, 4 people's houses to go by. No, 5. 4 or 5 houses to go by. Visit everybody I know. Soak up some daylight. If it doesn't start raining. Hold on a second. Okay, sorry about that. Stopped on 108. Hey, that's how long Yuri Gagarin was in space. That's how many beads are on a mala. Not Doja Cat, but the other Amala. From the Dogma. So, we're going to follow up on this. And then the only person in this town that sent me a letter, well, the only person that's written me a letter and it got to me, I mean, who knows? Because my mail's been stolen before. I'm going to write her a letter today. And maybe I'll take it to her house. Because, shit, stamps. I got her address. I might as well walk it over there. Knock on her door. Give it to her by hand. Hey. But I drew up a reading right after looking at this letter. And so I wanted to share that with you. We have, hold on one second. All right, I think I got her here. So, I'm going to read these cards in reverse of how I pulled them, more or less. We begin with the 9 of Wands in reverse. What we have in the image here is a lady standing with her staff at the edge of a fence. And this card normally signifies strength in opposition. And I see this as not bowing, not giving in to anything in particular, but balancing scales. And so this is very positive for our reading with what it has to do with. 2 cards that flew out in sideways, and that makes sense also in this reading for what we're discussing. We got the Temperance card. This gentleman seated with the moon and the sun in his hands. Got the sun here. It's hard to see on these cards because they're so shiny. And the moon. And that's because, oh, and he's got angel wings that are really hard to see as well. They're extremely hard to see. He does have angel wings that are wispy. And that's because it shows the right position of where we're at. I mean, temperance is about being too much and too little, about balancing scales, but we're going with the flow and all things in their place at the right time. And this Queen of Pentacles, knowing that, also came out sideways with the Temperance, stuck together. And this is signifying the abundance that each of us holds within us. That each of us is the boss, is the prize, is worthy, is the leader. And we all have to work together at any rate for whatever reason. And it's sometimes a lot more clear when the reason is out of focus. Before that, we got these three cards. The first of these three cards that came out was the Seven of Pentacles, planting seeds and watching things grow. And that's kind of life's purpose. That's the journey I've been on. And I'm not like choosing like, okay, I'm going to go over to this person's yard. I'm going to plant this in a spot that they're not going to see so they won't cut it down. And go over to this person's yard and be like, hey, can I plant some peas here? Yeah, I see you already have a garden, you know. And I'll share some of my peas with you. And when they sprout, and then and if you want to share anything of yours, you know, it's not like that. It's not calculated. So that's very prosperous. And the two cards that came out with it as to 26. Let's see here. As of 33, I believe. This row. We got the Lovers and we got Judgment. Suddenly the Lovers started coming out in every reading once I did a reading about the ground floor about lovers. The twin flame reading of the heart of man and woman's position in relationships and the truth of it. So of course we have the Lovers. I love how they're in this card, that they're like in a passionate embrace. And then it's really hard to see, but there's a Merkaba or a tetrahedron, a star tetrahedron, I believe, between their third eyes. She has a tattoo of the Archer. And yeah, that fits very well. And the Judgment. But this Judgment isn't like slamming the gavel down. It's not calling anybody out. This is judgment by the Spirit. Well, I like how this one, how the light shines in this one, and it very much fits with her embracing herself to the sky, and her spirit is flying. And then how the lights stream. That's really cool. It's really beautiful. The Judgment, that's a 20. That's the T. That's the cross. That's everything judges itself. Everything's divided. Everything's repeatedly experiencing it all as nothing. And everything is all of it, and each of us is a nothing. And while maintaining our own individuality and space, and each of us is an all. Pull two from the Light Oracle deck, and they both came out in reverse. These beautiful rose cards here. And this very much fits with the fact that we're going to go visit this church here in about 45 minutes. We got the Priestess in reverse, because in God's house, who's the boss? Ain't nobody the boss. Everybody's the boss. Spirit's the boss. Whoever comes up is supposed to come up. The child starts crying. You know, it's like people in their readings. They're in their reading, and then they say like, oh, this person's coming up. There's somebody trying to come up against you, and all of a sudden the person's dog starts barking. And they're like, see? Spirit. Right? But one must know that our own mind is also controlling the situation. And that's truly where the High Priestess, or the Priestess, sits. And so each of us is calling that judgment of the lovers upon ourselves. It reads, how are you being called to step up and lead? Well, I'm not. I'm following a letter. I know who I am, and I know I'm wonderful, and that's beside the point. I know that every church is good, that every whatever. This is what I'm called to do today. And so, yeah, and I'm not following anybody, and there's no guarantees, like, of me coming back or me staying or, everything Spirit takes care of in the moment. So we also have this Age of Light card in reverse. You've been training for this for lifetimes. The training never stops. The lifetimes, every time you go to bed and you wake up, you've been reincarnated. Especially every time you move or you change relationships. You go to sleep and you wake up. Every time you get up and leave the house. Every time you go to McDonald's. Every time you eat a meal. That's a new lifetime. That's one thing that ICE taught me. That every hit you take, it's something else. You changed everything. Nothing changed. And so light is Tigger. It's light. Yes, dear. What? I'm almost done. I already gave you breakfast, dear. So we have 4 of these vibe cards left. Here's the backs of them. I like that. We have 3 of them face straight and 1 in reverse. The first one in reverse is initiative. Yeah, because I'm not taking initiative. I'm following a trail. But I am taking initiative because what called me to do this today? I've had that letter in my suitcase, my leather case for whatever for a couple months now. And I've even talked to the pastor. He came in and talked to me. And so I'm sure he already knows who I am. But it doesn't matter. God knows who we all are. And so it says you can't start a new chapter if you keep reading the old one. Yeah. Well, isn't that a weird biblical joke, right? That's a fucking funny one. The ability to take charge, strike out on something new, and take an introductory step. Yeah, this makes me think of just say yes. Yeah, well, if somebody showed up at my door, the moment I'm walking out the door, and whoever it was, the odds are I would say yes. And we would do what comes about. And plans would change in that moment. And that would be appropriate. At the same time as, well, we each have to use our discernment. But it's pretty clear, each of us have our own protection. And it has to do with where our hearts and minds are at. That's where the spiritual ranking comes in. Even though there's only one spirit and there's no rank. But yes, there is. Why does the Pope get a bulletproof car? Why is he always up in his room and only a tiny window? There are certain benefits that come to those who hold great spiritual positions. At the same time as all of those benefits become a prison. And the limitation to the job. Like if Francis wants to reach people, they all got to go to the Vatican. But they can just pull him up on the website. But even if they're there, in his presence, they're not going to get from him exactly what they want to get from him. Even if it's a simple question, an interview of, What do you think about this? Even if he gives it straight as hell and he's like, this is how it is. Or he gives an allegory. Or there's something, there's always extra. And there's always things missing to it. And the more simple the answer, the greater the implications. So we're given these 3 cards. It's funny, this initiative card's pink. Like, these 2 cards have a lot of pink in them. And the 3 remaining cards are all the same color. They're all green. We got presence, devotion, and spontaneity. Well, that's what we're here for, right? That's what we're doing now, later, all the way through. Presence. There's no time like the present. Existing in the current moment, fully immersed in the here and now. Of these cards. See, this one is a Aries. Aries and Pisces. But of these 3 green cards, we have Libra and Virgo. Libra and Virgo, Leo and Scorpio, Leo and Virgo. That's a perfect balance. We got 2 Leos with the 2 M's. You can see here. Well. And then we got Libra with one of the M's. It won't focus that small. How auspicious is that? Devotion. In peace be faithful, in war be valiant. Dedicating oneself to the connection, cause, or ideal, faithfulness and love. And spontaneity. Make hay while the sun shines. Living in the moment, emergent behavior in response to current events. Which goes along with tapping into that initiative card that was in reverse and equals the whole reading. So simply. Oh, it splashed me. So, I'll be doing a couple readings this afternoon for whatever purpose, or a couple conversations. Because I have nothing else but to be present in the here and now, everywhere I go. And I'm never alone, even when all the lights are off. I'm sitting here choosing to play a game on my phone for 20 minutes just to have a diversion. Because I don't have any diversions. But I don't have a project either. And then the whole time I'm playing the game, I'm like, this is stupid. I know this is a waste of time. But then I'm still listening to my friends. Or I'm in silence and listening to what mulls over in my mind. But more often than not, I'm listening to my friends and getting insight or information listening to them. We're never alone. But you should never let yourself be stopped by limitations of thinking that you don't have a voice. Even if it only looks like one person ever sees any of your videos, or 0, or you get 10 views and you get 0 likes. That's not the important part. That doesn't fucking matter. What matters is that you were there and you spent that time with yourself, focused upon the here and now, and shared it for what it's worth. Even if it's your own trauma, if it's guidance, if it's just a smiling face, if it's a reason to wake up in the morning, if it's something to build upon. It's best.